The January 2020 Forbidden List is the start of a completely new era, completely changing the entire landscape of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. One would have to wonder, what are some of the cards that you should be looking out for the next upcoming meta? Don't worry, in this video we'll be talking about the cards that you should buy before they skyrocket in price. These cards are trending on the up and you guys should pick them up while they're low so you can have them when they're high. I mean, because nobody wants to pick up cards when they're high. So before we get into this video, I just have to say, if you guys want to see more videos like this, maybe cards that you guys should sell before they plummet in price, then go ahead and give this video a like. Also, comment down below in the comment section, what cards do you think will go up in price that aren't on this list? Starting off with the first card on our list, or our first collection of cards, are the Orcust cards. Now, Orcust actually received a huge nerf in the January 2020 Forbidden List, with Orcust Harp Horror being banned. But I don't think that that's actually going to stop the deck from being competitive. Orcust is actually still a really powerful deck. The only problem now is it needs 2 card interactions with Orcust Brass Bombard. That still doesn't stop it from putting out some really crazy boards with IP Masquerena, as well as your Dingirsu in the graveyard for disruption, and then of course your Orchestrated Babel to be able to make all your Orcust cards quick effects. Some cards that I really think you guys should be looking for is of course Dingirsu, because not only does it come as a sexy ultimate rare, the ultra rare is something that players may be looking to get rid of, thinking that the deck is dead. I mean, seriously, if you really thought this deck was dead because of Orcust Harp Horror, then Orcust Symbol Skeleton is another card I feel players should be looking at in the super rare form. It did get reprinted as a super rare inside of the OTS 12 set, so it's relatively new and quantities are rather abundant. I wouldn't expect this card to just completely skyrocket in price, but it's still a pivotal card for the Orcust strategy. Same thing with Orcust Nightmare, a card that, I mean, is a super rare inside of the last OTS set and has an amazing effect. I mean, this card sends Dark Machine monsters from the deck to the graveyard. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line, even if Orcust does die, this becomes a pivotal card to be able to send Clutch Dark Machine monster to the graveyard to be able to activate their effects. The last card being Galtea in its ultimate rare form. Seriously, if you guys can pick these cards up and are looking to play Orcust down the line in the future, this might be the perfect opportunity. Players aren't necessarily 100% sure if Orcust will still be a great deck. I personally think it will be a competitive deck with the next upcoming formats, and then of course you still have the Mech Knight Orcust monster that is soon to be released. All of this to me means that Orcust will soon be relevant yet again, one way or another. Picking up these cards when players don't want them is the best time to do stuff. I mean, that's how you, like, stock markets. That's how you do it. Another strategy that has a bevy of cards that I think players should be investing in. This time you can either use it as its own entity or use some of the cards separately outside of the strategy, are the Traptrix cards. Now, Traptrix Sarah is actually a lot better than what some people realize. It allows you to get Traptrix monsters to your side of the field and set whole trap cards to your side of the field for free. As long as you're summoning Traptrix monsters to your side of the field, I don't think that's much of a drawback. There is a new whole trap card in Eternity Code that this card can set called Hole by the Grave Hole. You guys get what I'm saying. This card can set it, and it's a really good card. I also think Floodgate Trap Hole becomes a little more powerful the closer we get to Master Rule 4 Revised. Reason being is that there will be quite a few decks that won't use Link monsters, and Floodgate Trap Hole can take perfect advantage of them. The last card is just Traptrix Rafflesia. Traptrix Rafflesia is just completely crazy. I wanted to tell you guys to invest into this card when it was $3. Now it's creeping towards the $5 range, but it allows you to activate Trap Hole cards from your main deck. Both the Floodgate Trap Hole and Traptrix Rafflesia don't have to be played in this specific strategy. They're great generic cards that could find their way into the competitive circuit. Traptrix Sarah is going to be more towards the players that want to play Traptrix. It's about $6 right now, and I could see it being a pretty penny if the Traptrix strategy takes off. Moving away from the strategies, because this really isn't a strategy discussion, Droll Lock Bird is an excellent card that has already been going up in price bit by bit. The ultimate rare version started off at around $40. I think as of right now, they're between $60 and $70, and I don't see them ever going down. Reason is because Ultimate Rares hold value, especially the OTS Ultimate Rares, and when they do go up, they tend never to go back down again. But Droll Lock Bird actually is in a really good format right now. We can already assume that since some of the bitter decks are broken up, searching is going to be a little more prevalent. And Hero is being seen as one of the most powerful decks of the format right now. Droll Lock Bird is one of the very few hand traps I think is just completely amazing because it actually solves this situation instead of negating a particular instance. By discarding this card, you can prevent both players from searching for the duration of the turn. I remember when Mistake was an extremely good card. You put that in the form of a hand trap against a meta where every deck likes to search, Droll Lock Bird can be dominant. Now there are definitely a lot of prints that you guys can look to for Droll Lock Bird. One is the common, the other one's the ultra, and the super rares. Those are relatively cheap, so go ahead and pick those up before it is too late. Speaking of hand traps, a card that I have noticed to make its way into players' main decks and side decks is Called by the Grave. See what I did there? You thought I was going to talk about a hand trap, but I'm going to talk about a card that beats hand traps. Called by the Grave is a great card right now because not only are most decks susceptible to hand traps a little bit more, Called by the Grave is good against decks that need their monster effects in the graveyard. It also has multiple rarities inside of Ultra, Prismatic, Common, so I don't think that this card will just be completely bought out and skyrocket in price, but I do think that the higher rarities are going to be cards that people will seek after. Called by the Grave at one point in time was a must-have card inside of every single deck. I think that it's still a really good card, especially against graveyard-reliant decks, and in a format where a lot of decks are a lot weaker and a little more susceptible to disruption. I think that Called by the Grave is a solid card that you guys should have, especially the Prismatic Secrets. Now for my investors that are looking for a high-risk, high-reward type situation, I would have to talk to you guys about tuning. Tuning has quite a few prints, but the one that us investors would be looking at is the ultimate rare version from Starstrike Blast. Now, Starstrike Blast is notorious for making cards skyrocket in price simply because it only had one print in first edition. This card is really no different as ultimate rare tunings are $41 already and the card isn't even competitive. Players buying this card out, I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard to replace this, especially seeing that Konami doesn't make ultimate rares anymore. And its effect is actually amazing. It allows you to add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. As long as you send a card from the top of your deck to the graveyard, that's not even a requirement in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Not only are Synchrons getting more support as well, there are some really good Synchrons right now. Unknown Synchron is a card we'll talk about just a little later, and Jet Synchron is a card that everyone knows about. Both of them are machine extenders that can be really good into the format. The next reason why tuning would be a great card is because Needle Fiber is coming soon. Getting into those critical tuner monsters may be an important thing for certain decks that want to make Needle Fiber and then continue to pop off. I think tuning in its highest rarity is the perfect investment for investors. It's an ultimate rare, so the odds of it being reprinted in that same rarity are low. It is a card that could be competitive in the near future and has uses right now. Tuning is too strong. I'm glad I got my 3. Now for my other investors, maybe you guys don't want to drop hundreds of dollars on a particular card that's damn near a safe investment and won't piss no one off. Maybe you want to drop a ton of money on a low-end card, but this card actually still has access for the budget players. I think Performage Damage Juggler fits this criteria. The reason being is because it has a common print from its original set, but it also has a really powerful effect. Performance Damage Juggler is an underrated hand trap. It allows you to negate the activation of an opponent's card effect that would inflict burn damage to you and destroy it. It also is a mini Battle Fader-like monster, being able to prevent the next damage you would take by discarding this card. But the best effect about Performage Damage Juggler is its graveyard effect. While it's there, you can banish it to add a Performage monster from your deck to your hand, and players should already know what some of the best Performage cards are. Hat Tricker, being able to provide free resources to your side of the field, is a level 4 monster for Xseed plays, and Trick Clown being able to special summon itself to the side of the field for the graveyard. There are a ton of underrated decks this format that take good advantage of a 4-Mage Damage Juggler. If there was ever a card that I would condone a buyout to, it's a card that players have access to in a lower rarity. I think with the rise of search cards and hand traps, Cyframe Gear Gamma is stupid good. Because not only do you get an opportunity to negate an opponent's critical hand trap that more often than not is a hard once per turn, you also get the opportunity to special summon 2 monsters to your side of the field to continue your Link or Synchro plays. Cyframe Gear Gamma has 2 prints as a super rare and an ultra rare, and those are pretty old now. Being able to have this card in your arsenal to be able to stop your opponent from stopping you is amazing. And let's not forget that you can always link summon into Cyframe Lord Lambda now, which means that you don't necessarily have to control no monsters on your side of the field to trigger this card's effect. This hand trap has only gotten stronger with the new Cyframe Lord Lambda, or I guess you could say the old Cyframe Lord Lambda by now, and has proven its worth inside a format where there are tons of hand traps or where your opponent wants to stop your opening plays. When your opponent wants to be aggressive, Gamma has your back, so I would definitely pick some of these cards up before they skyrocket in price. Now, I do see the bit of backlash that these type of videos get. Players think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and people just buy all these cards, but in actuality, looking at every single one of my buy these cards before they skyrocket in price, not only are they not self-fulfilling prophecies, they're an amazing tool for budget players to be able to get the cards before they become super meta relevant. Again, I want you guys to like this video if you want to see more, and I'll catch you on the next video. I hope you guys are having a great day, like I am.